Hello. I want to briefly talk about cultural differences. Now, cultural differences is going to be different wherever you teach. The biggest hotspots for teaching are definitely China. That's where the most amount of money comes from. Those are going to be the highest paying jobs, the most amount of hours. The hours are going to be crazy. You're going to be teaching at 2 or 3 in the morning. The latest class you'll probably teach is going to be about 10 a.m. But there's also, you teach Russians, there's lots of South Americans. Every culture is different. And you just need to be very consciously aware. I am not an expert in culture, but I want to give a couple examples and then also just tell you that whatever company you work for, you need to research the customs and the norms. Usually a company is not going to throw you under the bus and expect you to know everything on your own. So if you are working for, let's say, a Russian company, they will probably tell you a little bit about Russian norms. But some things just to kind of get you mentally prepared or aware of would be, for example, many Saudi Arabians enjoy taking their class from a car. So they will be driving and you will be teaching them. And to many Americans, this seems crazy because it is illegal to talk on your phone and drive. Maybe Jamaicans don't see it as that being that crazy, but it could be a little off-putting. so that's one aspect. Brazilians, for example, love to take classes kind of like sprawled off without a shirt on, and it looks very casual and a little bit awkward and weird. But it's not abnormal. It's not like they're. It's not sexual or weird. It's just that they're casually taking a class, and in their culture, it's very common for men not to wear shirts. Saudi women won't want to show themselves. So a lot of the time, all of your lessons are going to be recorded. That's something you should get used to. Honestly, a company isn't gonna like hire you and have you teach if they're not monitoring you or having some record in case something illegal or something happens. A lot of it has to do with like your own safety. If something happens, they want to have proof of you, having seen some whatever. So they record it. Many Saudi women then decide to black out their screens, or they'll say hello and then turn it off. That's part of their culture. So you're going to be teaching a blank screen. They really appreciate the hand motions and the TPR, but you won't be able to see them. You get used to it. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed watching someone as I taught, to see their pronunciation or to see their facial expressions, until I started teaching someone who had no video, and then I realized how weird it is. So another difference would be like, for example, in Asian culture, never admit that you are wrong. That is admitting fault. So many Americans like to preemptively apologize. I am so sorry for X, Y, and Z. I'm so sorry that this happened. Let's say VIP Kit, well, I shouldn't mention my company. Let's say your company, say ABC or Cambly or any of them, has an issue. If you say, I'm so sorry, vocally or over feedback, essentially that is admitting guilt upon yourself, and they are going to look like it's your fault. So don't apologize on behalf of your company. Not really. Just let it go, because that's admitting fault. And you don't want to do that. That's going to put things on you, bad reviews for you. So just forget about it. Apologies are not helpful. So definitely research every background that you have, every culture you work in. It's not absolutely necessary, but it goes a long way. It really does help. There's lots of words that are mistranslated. For example, the word silly in Chinese translates to stupid or like retarded. So you never say it. We teach children it, but then if you type it into the feedback, it translates to a bleeped out word. So there's lots of little tips and tricks like that. Those are just some examples of why it's so important for you to research it. I guess another one would be that almost every Chinese child during the summer teaches in their underwear, and they like to dance and they like to do their thing, and it's very awkward. Maybe not for a Jamaican, because Jamaican kids tend to wear less clothing, but for an American, that is super awkward. But that's normal. It doesn't, no one feels a way about it. So just research what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate, because sometimes something can be very inappropriate that that is one or isn't. So just be aware. You don't want anything bad to happen to you that shouldn't, or you don't want to mistakenly think something is wrong when everything is all right. So yeah, I am not a cultural expert. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I do just want to point out that learning about whatever culture that you start working for will help you in the long run.